I'm here with a very special lady in my life, my wife, Karen Meguiar. Starting in New York. We met this guy named David Wilkerson in 1970, a miracle to itself. We can't go into all that right now, but became best friends with him for 40 years and traveled the world with him. And boy, did we learn about revival outside the walls through the ministry of David and Gwen Wilkerson.
We would walk the streets of New York with Dave, and he would stop and just minister to people, stop and just talk to people, and tell them about Jesus. And, Barry and I'd look at each other.
Yeah, we keep our background. We didn't do such things.
No. A little more refined.
Well, really, quite frankly, before David Wilkerson's Sing Teen Challenge, we looked at, on TV, we'd see these, gangbangers, and they're in their baggy pants, and they were just being hauled away. They just did a drive-by or something. We just put them in jail and throw the key away. Get rid of those horrible people. And then we sat at a teen challenge. He took us back to New York for that first Christmas.
It was just
teen
a few months after we met them.
1970. December of 1970. Yeah. And we saw addict after addict get up and talk about they were this, and now they're this. And we had never thought about there was redemption possible. We just thought, throw these guys away. They're just destined for hell. Oh. And then you realize God loves them as much as He loves anybody. He loves us all the same. And when you express that love and you watch them come out of that hate, the anger, and you see them soften and start to smile, and then you see the love of the Lord flow through them. That thinking about it, that probably had about as much effect as anything.
Well, what was interesting, too, we went to these street meetings with him. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know who David Wilkerson was, he was an evangelist in capital letters, held crusades all over America and around the world. Mm-hmm. But we would go to these street meetings in some really...
Bedford's time is the worst areas of New York City.
Because it was Barry and I, and we had our two little girls with us, too. They were tiny at that time.
They grew up on it. We're all the same.
All the same.
Scripture very clear on that. And you know what? Ministry, there's wonderful Christians in poverty, but they have a great place to minister.
How about Poland?
Oh, my
how
goodness
happy
sakes.
Were the people
we were
there.
at a crusade with the David Wilkerson Starting Teen Challenge in Poland before the Iron Curtain came down. And we went in that one home where there was 12 family members in that 3-room flat. They had that little coal stove, and the joy.
Oh, so much joy. And they were on food rationing. And the meal that they prepared for us, I don't know where they got the food. It was incredible.
We said it for a long time, and even looking back now, I don't know if I've ever seen more pure joy than they had. When we were convicted, we were convicted by that, this is so strange. We come from America. We have all this stuff, and we see this family that has nothing. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from.
And the bread lines remember how long the bread lines were?
And they could be arrested the next day for their faith. And they sat there with so much joy because they depend on God for everything. We weren't depending on God for anything. We have all this stuff. They see miracles. They were seeing miracles every day. They shared these miracles, how they're getting food for the next day.
It was so incredible.
And their intimacy with God was stuff. I remember one thing that you said when you came back. You said you're never going to go to the mall again. Do you remember that?
Yeah, my grandkids need shoes.
Yeah, that's right. They need shoes. You know what they do. But it's so many people have impacted our lives.
I remember one thing about that trip. Brother Dave, Pastor Dave Wilkerson, he was holding crusades all over Poland in the different sections of Poland. And the altar calls were so incredible. And we were up on the stage, and he came over to me. He says, Karen, just pray for him. It doesn't matter whether they understand you or not. Just pray for him. The Lord understands.
Oh, boy.
But that taught me a lesson too. You just need to pray for people. Yeah. When you run into them, ask them, how you doing?
Let's get real practical for a minute. We've been all over the place, but most people watching us right now, we live similar lives in that we go to stores and we mix with people in all the common ways. And this is not just an experience we had when we go on a trip with Dave and Gwen Wilkerson, and they're both gone now, and we miss them terribly. But it's not necessarily a mountaintop experience of going. This is just our day. This is how we live our lives.
Yes.
Thank you, Karen, for being here today and helping everybody see who you are and the important role you're playing in this ministry. And thank all of you for joining us.